Hello and welcome. I am Light and this is my channel. Today we are going to talk about a woman who went missing. And per usual, this case isn't your average missing persons case. However, even this one has a slightly different twist than we've seen before. This twist could have an effect on your opinion of what happened to this woman, or where she is, or if you've seen her and maybe didn't even realize it. So, before we get started, if you would please give this video a thumbs up, I would appreciate that. If you are not already subscribed, please do so. And if you would like to be notified of my content when it goes live, please click that bell and click on the option you would prefer to be notified every time there's content, never when there's content, or customize it to your liking. All right, let's go. In 2017, a movie starring Tom Cruise came out. The name of this movie was American Made, based on a true life story. And it was. It was based on the story of a man who was named Barry Seal. Barry Seal was a TWA pilot who became a major drug smuggler for the Medellin cartel. When Seal was convicted of smuggling charges, he became an informant for the DEA and testified in several major drug trials. Barry was murdered in 1986 by contract killers hired by Pablo Escobar, who many know as the head of the Medellin cartel. Now, you're asking yourself, how does Barry Seal and the Medellin cartel have anything to do with a missing woman? Well, this happened in the tiny little town where this woman lived and where she became a reporter for the local newspaper. Mena, Arkansas, a town that would otherwise be considered a sleepy little town, was where Barry Seal ran guns for the Medellin cartel. A little over a decade later, Gloria McDonald was a reporter for the local newspaper in Mena, where she covered crimes. On Friday, January 26, 2001, Gloria McDonald, who was 68 years old, her husband Daniel, her husband's son, and the son's girlfriend went for a hike on the Lover's Leap Trail in the Queen Wilhelmina, Arkansas State Park in Polk County, Arkansas. They arrived at around 12:25 p.m. There is a famous lodge there, but this was off-season, so there was only one room rented out in the lodge. They were just there for the hike. Daniel McDonald's son was from his past marriage. His name was Sean McDonald, and he was visiting from Florida with his girlfriend, Erin Jamot. Queen Wilhelmina offers some of the most breathtaking views in the state from the fully renovated lodge. It is located on top of Ridge Mountain, which is Arkansas's second highest peak. The original lodge was built in the late 1800s as a Victorian resort named Wilhelmina Inn to honor the young Queen of the Netherlands. The park is located 13 miles west of Mena. The hike along Lover's Leap Trail was along one of nature trails that borders the lodge property near Ridge Mountain. The attraction of this particular loop is an overlook on a high rock bluff with a sweeping view of the surrounding mountains and the national forest. It is described as a moderate difficulty and with a 1.3 mile 1 hour duration. So not that bad. I've read other things about this trail that have said that it's actually not moderate difficulty. It's just pretty easy. About 150 yards down the trail, the group found several tree limbs and debris blocking the trail. It had been caused by a recent winter storm, and Gloria decided that she did not wish to walk any further as she wasn't a quote-unquote woodsy person, and that was a quote given by her husband. So she decided to return to the park's gift shop and restaurant while the others continued onwards. There were a few people working at the lodge. There were the people in the restaurant, a cook, waitress. There was enough staff on hand in case there were any guests, and like I said, there was one room rented. There were also maintenance workers on the property. Gloria's husband and stepson and his girlfriend came back about half an hour later, and when they returned to the lodge, they could not find Gloria. She had disappeared without a trace. To this day, there has been no sign of her found. The car the group had used was parked where it had originally been left, and all of their possessions were still locked inside. A search of the car indicated that none of Gloria's personal belongings were missing. Gloria was a redhead. She was wearing a blue plaid flannel shirt, a glossy, bright yellow hooded jacket, like one of those raincoats you would see, blue jeans, sneakers, some rose-tinted sunglasses, a plain gold wedding band, a platinum ring resembling two balls intersecting one another, a 3.5-carat sapphire ring, a necklace with a cross pendant, and possibly a small-sized gold filigree ring. She weighed about 120 pounds, and she was 5 feet 6 inches tall. She was carrying a Minolta Riva Zoom 90 camera. There was one witness, a man who worked as a ground crew worker, who said that he thought it was possible that he had seen a woman in a bright yellow jacket. And that was the end of that part of the investigation, I guess. On January 27th, the Arkansas State Police special agents were contacted by Polk County Sheriff's deputies in Mena after a search of the Queen Wilhelmina Lodge failed. They searched the lodge, they searched the area around the lodge, and there was no sign of Gloria. A thorough search was then conducted of the area using dogs, helicopters, and a search and rescue team. As I've said, McDonald was a reporter for the local newspaper. She did report on local crime, and she was also the court reporter for the Mena Star newspaper. So there was a theory that it was possible that somebody she had written about could have kidnapped her and taken her off the mountain. But friends reviewed her notes and articles to see if there could be a clue, something she could have written about, something particularly able to anger somebody enough that they would kidnap her, murder her. And they said that there was nothing. They couldn't figure out what there could be that would lead somebody to harm her. The family had a theory that she could have, quote unquote, walked up on something involving illegal drug activities and possibly killed to silence her. Now, this area, of course, had a history of illegal drug activity. So, is it possible that it was still going on in the area? Well, we don't know. It had obviously been a hotbed at one point. But if a 68-year-old woman walks down a trail, do you kill her for seeing you? I don't know. I wouldn't think so, but we'll never know. The Arkansas State Police Senior Special Agents Lynn Benedict and Hayes McWhirter conducted the state police investigation along with the Polk County Sheriff's Department. The Polk County Sheriff at the time, Mike Oglesby, said that there was only one room rented in the lodge, that there were people who were working there, picking up brush, etc., and that he didn't see that if she had walked back to the lodge with even just those amount of people working, if she had actually gone into the gift shop, how she could have disappeared without a trace. It didn't make any sense. It just didn't seem like she wouldn't have been seen, especially since she was wearing such a bright yellow jacket, and she was in the hotel, in the gift shop. There would be somebody working there. So he didn't believe that she had made it back to the lodge. McWhirter also said that during the same time that they were searching, the bloodhounds searched all over the mountains and they found no remains. However, the bloodhounds followed a scent which led down to a paved road below the lodge, and then they lost the scent of the road. There were no suspects, and we don't know what happened to her. However, losing a scent on a road sometimes indicates that a person was picked up. Was she picked up? Had she told somebody where she'd be? Had she told them to meet her there? To take her away? We'll never know. But what we do know is that what happened on January 26, 2001 has baffled authorities. And there are many theories online about kidnapping and murder, or even a Bigfoot attack. Some believe that she got lost and fell somewhere. Others that she ran away intentionally, given her husband's behavior after her disappearance, and was picked up by an accomplice or a friend. Police even wondered if she was ever actually in the 460-acre park, seeing as nobody else could place her there. Daniel McDonald was 63 years old. He was Gloria's husband. He is quoted as saying, "I was the number one suspect. I demanded to take a polygraph test." And the state police investigator Lynn Benedict confirmed that Daniel had passed this test. Daniel complained that the authorities spent too much time questioning him before bringing out the search dogs the next day. But at the time, Gloria's family was certain that she was already dead by the second day. Daniel is quoted as saying, "In my mind, she's dead." He went on to say, "I think she saw something she shouldn't have. So they took her. Or maybe she was snatched up by someone and tossed into one of these buildings." An odd reaction from a husband. Gloria and Daniel had only been married for around a year, so they were still newlyweds. Yet, he seemed pretty certain that she had ran into something that she shouldn't have. And if so, how is it possible that they didn't pass these people when the family walked past them? When the family was on the trail, they didn't see these people? Why so sure that she was dead? That wouldn't be my first guess. My first guess would be perhaps she got lost, although the trail is very clearly marked. But she was 68. Perhaps she wandered off trail to use the bathroom, couldn't find her way back out. I wouldn't, on the day 2, try and stop an investigation saying she's dead. Would you, as a spouse? Then, even stranger, only a few days after his wife disappeared, Daniel said he was going to move back to Florida. He was quoted as saying, "I don't want to be the guy in Mena whose wife was killed on the mountain." The sheriff says he hasn't ruled out Daniel as a suspect, but authorities didn't have any evidence against him. And then he went on to say something so, I don't know, heartless in an interview Daniel said he couldn't imagine that anyone would abduct his wife for her body, because she could not be considered pretty. What a guy. Gloria was Daniel's second wife. His first wife died in her home of natural causes, according to a funeral home in Florida. Sean McDonald said in a telephone interview from Florida that sometimes his father can come across the wrong way. He's a great man, but he'll say whatever's on his mind, and he doesn't care what anyone thinks. Well, that's too bad. Still, Daniel's comments and his fast departure to Florida were baffling and, obviously, suspicious. Sean said that all 3 family members were interrogated separately the day after Gloria disappeared. Police seized his camera and found pictures taken the day of the hike. But, oddly, there were pictures of everybody except for Gloria. Sean's quoted as saying, "They were so focused on us, but we didn't have anything to do with this. You see this stuff in the movies and on the news, but this one really hit home." The only people to say that Gloria was at this national park, the only people that put her there as an absolute truth, were Daniel, Sean, and Aaron. When Gloria's daughter Carrie from a previous marriage was interviewed, she said that the first thing I think is that she's more than likely dead. I know my mom. If someone did get her into a car, she would have mouthed off so much they would have had to kill her. If this isn't the strangest, most uncaring family we've ever spoken of on this channel, I don't know what is. If she was lost on the mountain in a bright yellow jacket and fell, it seems that she would be fairly easy to spot. And over all these years, somebody would have found a bright yellow jacket at some point. I mean, we have drones flying over everywhere now. There's people still hiking this area. It's a huge tourist attraction. I don't think she was there. And no sign in 18 years has ever said that she was there. So, where is Gloria? Did she run upon something that she shouldn't have seen? Was there something that had to do with her reporting? Maybe she ran a story on the Medellin cartel. Could this small town, 68-year-old woman write a story so hard to take, so close to a nerve of some big-time crime cartel boss or a small-time criminal, cause them to kidnap her? And also, how are they going to know where she is? How are they going to know that she's going to be on this mountain at this time and she's going to come back? I don't think so. And for her husband to say that nobody would kidnap her for her body because they couldn't call her beautiful, and then move to Florida, seems a little odd to me, to say the least. So, what happened to Gloria? Maybe we can care where her family didn't. If anybody who has been in that area has seen something bright yellow and thought, oh, that's odd, and never heard of this story, please call the Arkansas Sheriff's Department or the state police. If you live in this area and have ever heard rumors that seem like they could be possible, could you please do the same thing? Somebody needs to care about what happened to Gloria and where she is. Thank you for coming to my channel. If you are interested in stories like this and you are not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe now. I try my best to do stories that are as recent as possible, that we could possibly do some good with, that the families could maybe get closure. Good night.